Gaza's fragile ceasefire is holding by a thread after Israel carried out dozens of deadly strikes on the territory. The guarantors of the ceasefire, including the US and Egypt, are scrambling to de-escalate the situation. Hopes that a complete collapse could be avoided rose when both Hamas and the military issued statements saying they were committed to the agreement. Donald Trump says the ceasefire is still in effect. He also suggested that Hamas leadership was not involved in any alleged breaches and instead blamed some rebels within.
We want to make sure that it's going to be very peaceful with Hamas. And as you know, they've been quite rambunctious. They've been doing some shooting, and we think maybe the leadership isn't involved in that, some rebels within, but either way, it's going to be handled properly. It's going to be handled toughly, but properly.
Is the ceasefire still in place?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
While speaking to American broadcaster CBS, Donald Trump's son-in-law and advisor Jared Kushner stated that the U.S. believes Hamas is actually looking for the bodies of deceased hostages and is not intentionally dragging out the process of returning them to Israel. With the ceasefire in effect, Kushner said that the U.S. is still trying to push both sides to be proactive in terms of finding a solution instead of blaming each other for the breakdowns. On being questioned about his vision for Palestinians going forward, Kushner underlined that the U.S. remains focused on creating a situation for joint security and economic opportunity for Israelis and Palestinians so that they can live side by side in a durable way. Israeli army says it has resumed enforcing the ceasefire. The strike began after the IDF accused Hamas of targeting its troops. In a separate statement, it said 2 of its soldiers were killed in Rafah. Hamas has denied the accusations of the ceasefire violation, with one official accusing Israel of fabricating pretext to resume the war. Gaza Civil Defense Agency said at least 45 people had been killed in Israeli strikes. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stressed in a statement that Hamas has violated the ceasefire. Israel also decided to close all crossings to the Gaza Strip and halt the delivery of humanitarian aid. Media reports say aid delivery will be renewed on Monday morning. The IDF said the incident happened on Sunday morning local time when Hamas militants came out of a tunnel in the Rafah area and launched an anti-tank missile at an IDF vehicle. In response to the incident, IDF conducted around 100 airstrikes against Hamas targets in the Rafah area and in other parts of Gaza. Nearly 10 hours after the fighting started, the IDF announced that it has renewed adherence to the ceasefire in accordance with the directive of the political leadership. Media reports citing officials from Israel and the U.S. said that Israel notified the Trump administration in advance of the strikes through the U.S. command center that oversees the ceasefire. Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner held a call with Israeli Minister Ron Dermer and other officials to coordinate and discuss the next steps. According to Axios, Washington urged Israel to respond proportionately but to show restraint. On the other hand, Hamas's armed wing insisted that the group was adhering to the ceasefire agreement with Israel and had no knowledge of any clashes in Rafah. However, one witness said that Hamas had been fighting a local Palestinian gang known as Abu Shabab, but the militants were surprised by the presence of army tanks. Israel's strikes hit Al-Burej camp in the central Gaza Strip. One of the strikes hit a house claimed to be used by journalists in Al-Zawada camp.
We were sitting here, safe and sound, and as you can see, the place is closed off to us. No one enters or leaves. We are all journalists. No strangers were entering or staying with us. Then the bombing happened right next to us, in the middle of the chalet. Our colleague, the broadcasting engineer, was martyred, and our colleague's child son was also martyred.
Now, the Israeli army, meanwhile, released another footage reportedly showing militants approaching its forces operating in the Beit Lahia in the northern Gaza Strip. They were struck after they crossed the yellow line, which marks the territory occupied by the Israeli forces.